Hi, I'm Pam D'Amore, and today I'm going to show you how to make some box corners. So there's different ways of doing box corners. There's different sizes. I'm going to use a ruler that I developed with my partner Betty Mitchell. So here's an example of a box corner with a center seam in the bottom. And here's another example of a box corner where the fabric was rolled around and we just boxed it in this way. So I'm going to just show you how we use this ruler and how I make my box corners. So I've made a fabric sandwich using my double-sided super shaping foam, which looks like this. This is my super shaping foam, and I've made 2 sandwiches. And so now I'm going to show you how I cut my corners. I'm using a rotary cutter, and you can cut anywhere from a 1-inch corner to a 4-inch corner using this ruler. So we'll do a 2-inch box here. So to do a 2-inch box, let me think about this. No, this is going to be, this is going to be a 2-inch box. So there's 1 inch here and there'll be 1 inch on the other side. I sometimes have to think about the math. So I'm just going to cut in like this and cut in like this. And, oops, I'm cutting a little better there. I'm on the wrong side of the rotary cutter for this mat for the being left-handed. Let me try this way. Okay, there we go. And I can just snip that little extra out with my scissors. I'm gonna trim the other side of this so that the corners line up. Just doing a little mock-up here. This is not, of course, going to be a project. I'm just showing you the corners. Smaller rotary cutter works better because you can get a little farther in the corners. I'm using a 45, so if you have a 28, that would work probably a little better. Okay, here we go. So now we're going to sew these corners. Oops, I did the same corner again. Never mind. Just pretend I didn't do that. Yeah, that happens, right? You can also, too, if you don't want to use your rotary cutter, you can use a pen and just mark the lines and cut them out that way, too. So, here we go. Did I do the same thing? Okay. It has to be the opposite corner. Lima, if you can just edit this out for me, okay? I'm just going to trim this up. Alright, so if I've done this corner, now this corner has to be cut out right here. It's the opposite corner. And I'll just show you how I do that with the pen versus the rotary cutter so you see both ways. And my pen's not working, but I can see the marks. Now I'm going to sew these together. So follow me to the machine. And I'm going to use 1/2 seam allowances. So I'm going to sew along the long side, which would be probably the side of my bag. Lima, if you can cut this out too of me fiddling with the foot control here. It's going the wrong way. After I sew the sides and the bottom of the bag, I still have this open corner. So I'm just going to fold it down like this and open up my seams. Now if this were going to be my finished edge, you would put quilt binding on each side. If you have quilt binding on each side, you won't be able to open up your seam. You're going to have to put one up and one down. So we'll pretend that we've already put quilt binding on there, and you'll see how to do that in the book. And there we have a 2-inch box corner using the Super Shaping Foam double-sided. Let me show you some other products that we have that we use for our bags. And one of them is our Flex and Firm Light, and that makes for a nice bag. If you want to make like a tote bag or a bag that was not as stiff, or you didn't want to use the foam, this is a really nice stabilizer to use. There's a waxy side which makes it fusible. So again, I'm going to press this down to fuse it. And I'm going to mark the corners. We'll do a little bit bigger corner this time. And I'm going to sew the corner in a different way to show you that you can do that. And I'm going to find a writing utensil that marks a little better than I can see. Here we go. So let's do a 3-inch box this time. Okay. Which is going to be 1.5 inches on each side. Okay. Now I make sure to mark opposite corners here. Okay, I'm going to cut this away. And now this time I'm actually going to sew the corner first and then sew the sides, because I want to show you both ways of doing it. So follow me to the machine. So we're going to fold the corner over and sew with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So those are our 2 corners already sewn. And so now we're going to open that seam up, and we can trim that out here so that just clip that into that corner so it will open up nicely. And now I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to turn this one right side out. Then I'm going to put it inside this one so that these seams are lined up. I'm going to grab some Wonder Clips here, and I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to make sure that these seams are lined up as best I can with this. And then you would sew the sides of your bag and your bottom just like this, again with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And then you're going to turn it right side out, and now we have a 3-inch box corner. So you can see how fun it is and how easy it is to do box corners for your bags using the 7-corner ruler. But if you don't have the ruler, just take a regular ruler and just mark those corners. Make sure they're even. If you're doing something on a fold, like I did in that other bag, let me just show you how to do that. I'm going to fold the fabric, so follow me to the ironing mat. So this is my bottom seam right here. This would be the bottom, okay? And you can put a little crease in there just so you doesn't move. And remember, if you're using a 1/2 inch seam allowance, you don't need a seam allowance here because you've got your fold. So if this is at like 1 inch, this should be at 1.5 inches. So you're going to make it off just a little bit, okay? So now we're going to cut that away. I'm going to sew a 1/2 inch seam right here. And we're going to open it up and fold over, and this is how easy it is to do it when you don't have that seam on the bottom. Just remember, you need to make that side just a 1/2 inch smaller because you don't need the seam allowance. And those are 3 ways of making a box corner. I'm Pam D'Amour, the Decorating Diva, and thank you for joining me, and thank you for purchasing my Hold Everything book.